And we are rolling.
All right.
First show, huh?
First show, last show.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, though.
Here we are, R and Andrew. Andrew and Ara.
My cue is Andrew and Ara for that.
R and Andrew. Yeah, our first podcast. You know, we're off to a good start when we literally had to Google how do we make a podcast before we started. So
Right, yeah. How do you make a podcast, Ara?
I still haven't really figured it out. We've got the audio portion figured out. It's being recorded. Now,
Yeah.
How we distribute it, we'll have to figure out later.
Well, you know, it's like, put the horse before the cart. Or is it the other way around? Put the cart before the horse?
I've never owned a horse.
I've never owned a cart.
I've never been a big fan.
Never been a... So, I don't know. I think we definitely do have a format for this show, but we just don't know what it is.
Sure.
And I think because we're going to be talking about a number of different things today, including as our introductory show, who we are, what we're going to do, what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about Indiana Jones for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And just like Indiana Jones, he is always on the search for something, and so are we.
Wow, nice transition.
You're welcome.
You're natural.
Well, I am, and I don't want to gloat, but I think at the very least we should at least explain what it is that we are doing here today, and why we decided that this might be a fun format for us.
Sure. Well, I guess this falls under the Wagon Magic Hour banner.
Yeah,
For those who don't know, we have a YouTube channel, very successful.
very successful. Yeah.
So much so that we need to take a break from it to try new mediums.
Yeah.
Is it mediums or media, plural? New media.
Well, I mean, mediums. I'm not too sure of the vernacular, but the idea that we want to take a break from the numerous amounts of hours that we have to spend, just like putting these videos together. It's hard work, folks. So
It doesn't just happen.
yeah, and
We make it look very easy.
we do, which is why we take usually about a month off in between. We used to not take that much time. We took about a week to put out new material, and then we realized that that was a waste of time.
It's quality, not quantity. is,
Right.
I believe what we decided.
Yeah,
We did some research.
we Googled it, just like we Googled how to do a podcast.
How does one make a podcast?
Well, from what I've heard, you just talk about a bunch of random things, and then you just put it together, and then you hope that people care about
Sure.
it, and then you gain followers, which is what we are doing. We already have the followers, but we're just going to talk about some random things. I guess to start. I mean, what do you want to talk about?
The Indy 500?
I think we should talk about the Indy 500. Oh, where to begin with this? One of the things, full disclosure, one of the things that I would like to do is I think it's very easy to be a downer about pretty much everything and anything. I would like to be critical of this film in principle only. I don't know what the film is going to be like. It might be really good, but I do worry about something like Indy 5 coming out, especially because it's so.
It looks like all the usual players are back.
Yeah,
Spielberg,
for better or for worse.
Lucas, written by
Yeah.
more aliens.
Oh God. Now I think you probably know this. Raiders is arguably my favorite movie ever. Maybe not the best movie ever, but my favorite movie. And I've always enjoyed that character. I think he's a pretty good character, and I think Harrison agrees with me on that. I think he likes that character definitely a lot more than Han Solo. So for him to want to continue playing that role is admirable, I guess. But at the same time, the guy's going to be pushing 78, 79 years old by the time this movie is released. So I don't know what kind of action that he's going to be able to do. Or
Do you think they'll de-age him?
I certainly hope not, because even though they could, he's going to have the same kind of jilted movement that De Niro had in The Irishman.
The Irish person.
Irish person, yeah.
Yeah, whatever happened with that movie? I haven't heard much. No, but
Still a good movie.
so ostensibly this will probably be set in what, the 1960s. The last one was in the 1950s, right?
Right.
So
Well, the last one came out 12 years ago
Jesus,
at this point.
wow.
And that was 55?
Mm-hmm.
So this would be 19...
68. It's gonna be the summer of
68.
love.
Well,
He's gonna be fighting some hippies.
maybe in 68 he'll be going to Vietnam. You know, they're going to draft him.
I told you I'm too old to be drafted.
But Indy, you need to go. There's something important over there. What is it? It's a stone wrapped in a ark in a cave with
Ooh. Aliens.
aliens guarding it. I guess I'll do it.
Do you think they'll take a look at the notes from the last film and maybe decide to leave out CGI monkeys? Will they learn any lessons? Serious question from the criticisms of the last film.
Well,
which technically it made money, right?
It made a lot of money.
So maybe not then.
Well, I think Crystal Skull had a lot of things going against it. For one, it had to reach the same kind of love that the fans would have had for the original trilogy. Hype is a real killer. So I knew that I was very excited to go and see that movie, and when I did see it, I thought that the overabundance of poorly done computer graphics was a detriment. I did not really care for the story just in general. I felt like it didn't really have any teeth, you know. Same like with Harrison, like, you know, there were very few.
You're saying that
there was just
Harrison's wearing dentures? Is that what you're saying?
I guess I'm alluding to that. I didn't say it. You said it.
Oh,
but,
that's true.
But I just felt that the last movie, Crystal Skull, was like a poor mirror image of the original trilogy. I know they had the same problem to a degree with Temple of Doom because there were no Nazis in that one, and that was something that people liked. So hence they bring back Nazis for the
Well, they're
third
good
one.
bad guys. I mean, in film.
Right. Yeah, they're reliably bad. I really don't know who he would go up against. If it takes place in the 60s or 70s, it could be against some kind of, like, maybe they actually go towards a James Bond type villain, someone who's gonna, you know, try to take over the world. At that point, maybe some like business or something like that. I really don't know.
Where was the last one? Was it in South America?
I believe it was South America, yeah.
So they're running out of continents. Maybe this one will be in North America.
So in continents.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ah.
Which is also something that they might have to deal with.
It'll be the Yukon Trail. I found this gold nugget in the river.
Maybe he could be on the Tennessee Trail, you know, the so-called... Anyway, no, it's
the Oregon Trail. I bet it'll be set in the United States. And he's going to be fighting hippies.
That would be something worthwhile.
I mean, where else can he go? He's been to the Middle East. He's been to Southeast Asia. He's been to South America and then Middle East again. But
he wasn't in China. He never went to China.
Well, India. That's true. He hasn't been to China.
Some Chinese might argue that that's not the same. I know what you're saying.
On the Asian continent. I'm sorry.
Has he been to Russia?
No. Well, the Russians were in the last one.
They were.
Not that interesting.
But most of the film, maybe not most, I don't have like the percentage mapped out here, but the beginning of Indy 4 was in New Mexico.
Right. Always starts in the U.S., and then he has to fly somewhere so they can do that flying montage with the map thing.
It almost always starts in the U.S.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, the second one didn't start in the U.S.
The second one started in China.
Oh, right.
Jesus
Christ. The Han Solo Cafe.
Club Obi-Wan.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. We have to edit that out because that's terrible. It looks like I'm slipping. It's
not the age.
It's the mileage. Well, anyway. Here's my concern, at least with Indy 5, and this is serious point. Yeah. We will try to be humorous as much as possible. That's debatable.
Doesn't always work. We may or may not pause to purchase Girl Scout cookies.
Well, if they're selling them there. Are they doing them?
I don't know. Should mention we are also broadcasting at the Burbank Airport right now.
Yeah. It's a beautiful Burbank Bob Hope Airport.
In the break room with the fridge running.
Yep. And one light bulb.
Nice room to wheel in this drum kit.
Well, the thing that I mean, we're witnessing this now for the past, I suppose, ever since we were alive. In the 1990s, the 70s were really popular. People were really trying to like push the 70s related stuff, and then in the 2000s, especially say 5-10 years ago, they started pushing 80s. And with that, you get a lot of 80s, iconic 80s TV shows and movies brought back and reimagined and whatnot. But one of the things that I feel is different is that Indiana Jones from the 80s takes place not in the 80s, takes place in a much earlier time. And you have a star who he was probably in his late 30s when he started Indiana Jones. I think he was near 50 when he was doing Last Crusade.
One, yeah.
At least late 40s. But now, when people watch these movies, are they really getting what they want? Because are you excited to see Indiana Jones, or are you excited to see Harrison Ford? Because I can tell you, watching a movie where you see a nearly 80-year-old Harrison Ford doing the kinds of things that feasibly the 40-year-old Harrison Ford was doing, and not as well, no offense, but like I just don't see how physical Harrison Ford could truly be unless they put stunt people in every step of the way. It's the same kind of thing that I feel like Tom Cruise has tried to do, where he's going back to the 80s movies like with Top Gun, and he still looks like Tom Cruise. So he dyes his hair, he has plastic surgery, he does all these things, so you're still kind of like, oh, Tom Cruise still looks youthful. So I could be behind that because it reminds me of a younger time, and oh, I don't feel quite so old now, but now Harrison Ford looks older, and it's like, well, I feel old now too. So does it quite work? Is nostalgia working in this factor, or is it showing you just how old you've actually gotten? So it'd be interesting to see how they deal with that.
I don't know. I guess the other question too is like, can Spielberg still make a film? Does he still know what he's doing? When was the last good film he made?
I do like Spielberg.
He was involved in Ready Player One, right?
Yes,
he directed.
He did.
Okay.
I actually I kind of like that movie.
You would. I didn't see it or read it, so I can't comment. But
I watched it on an airplane, and I understand that's not maybe the best venue to watch something.
Isn't it funny how we always use that as like, look, I watched it on a plane. It's kind of like an out. It's like,
yeah.
So I can't really say anything good or bad. I saw it on a plane.
Okay, well, how about this? My expectations for the movie were not great, and I know that does influence things. I didn't go into the movie wanting to dislike it, but I know that I am overwhelmed at times with CGI heavy material. It becomes boring to me, and I think what happened for Ready Player One that I enjoyed was the references that they used.
It's just a big nostalgia fest, right?
It's a big nostalgia fest for like, I don't know, you could argue that that's the point, or you could argue like that's just their angle. So that's why we did it, folks. But I don't know. I did enjoy that movie, and I forget the actor's name, but I like the bad guy too. I think he's a reliable bad guy. He was Krennic in Rogue One.
Josh Wheaton.
I don't know who that is. Josh. With an H.
Josh Wheaton.
Yeah, Wheaton. Yeah.
This is what we do.
No, I did like Ready Player One.
Is that the last? What was the last film he made? Was it that?
Well, I think he made the BFG after that. I haven't seen that movie.
I don't think anybody saw that movie.
Yeah, I don't think it did very well. But he's doing he's doing that West Side Story movie Now that's coming out soon.
What?
Yeah.
Is it like a straight adaptation, or is it like set in a
I
dystopian future with lots of 80s references?
I hope so. I haven't. I don't know what Spielberg has necessarily done recently, but I know that there's a way to do it.
Just stop with the West Side Story already?
People like.
It's been done to death.
Let's see what old Stevie has done recently. Yeah, Ready Player One was 2018. Before that he did the yeah. So I was way off. Before that he did The Post, which I liked, but it's like he goes back and forth. I'm just reading these off of his list. More than often, I do enjoy the movies. Like I liked AI. I liked Minority Report. I like Catch Me If You Can. The Terminal was. I like the set design of that movie. I think the most. It was a slight movie, but I really like War of the Worlds. I did like the destruction in that movie. It was very interesting.
I saw the set at the on the Universal tour recently.
Oh, War of the Worlds.
The flaming airplane.
Uh-huh.
Flaming 747.
Yeah. Is it still on fire?
Yeah.
That must cost a fortune.
Look, man, fire ain't cheap.
Well, also in Southern California, didn't part of the studio burn down because of some fire?
Yeah, they lost entire catalogs of music and film.
Oh, maybe it was worth it.
That film stuff is very flammable.
Yeah. Watch Inglourious Bastards to know that. I liked Munich to a point.
Never saw that, but I get the gist of it. It's an interesting story.
I feel like all of the movies that he's made here, nothing has kind of like what do people say, blown me away as much
that was a good film.
As much as say Saving Private Ryan. I really like that movie, but yeah, Lincoln, Bridge of Spies, BFG, The Post, Ready Player One. I don't know, man.
All right, so follow-up question: can he make a good film written by George Lucas? Is that possible?
Well,
George, again with the aliens? Look, Steven, we didn't really do it right the first time around.
But George, Steven, I'm older than you, and
again with the aliens.
All right, how about this?
Dan Aykroyd shilling that Crystal Skull vodka.
I'm kind of the opinion where does it really matter? I mean, honestly, people who are gonna like it are gonna like it, and people who are not gonna like it are just gonna continue to say that Indiana Jones has just been a trilogy and that's it. And people like Spielberg, who they are competent enough to know how to put a story together. Maybe the characters aren't the best drawn out, or maybe the story is kind of lame. At the same time, he can make a movie in under 3 months, under budget, and with little problems.
Spielberg can?
Yeah.
First time hearing this.
He just cranks out his movies with...
Never finished that project I asked him to work on. Never even got back to me.
Well, he was probably working on West Side Story.
What a jerk.
So
I have his IMDb Pro info.
I feel like Spielberg is like Clint Eastwood in a way, and by that I mean is efficient, can handle a large cast if he needs to, and works perhaps under budget, but with the difference, of course, is that Clint Eastwood films feel small, and Spielberg films feel much bigger, and special effects and all that.
There are no small films.
Okay.
Only small moviegoers.
Oh, right.
Small-minded.
Speaking of which, they're remaking Willow.
Are they really? That's another one of your favorite movies.
I do like Willow.
You always bring that up.
I like Willow a lot.
And I'm like, nope, still haven't seen it.
That's just irresponsible.
I guess so.
That's like not renewing your driver's license. It's
Done that a couple of times.
Sure.
Nah.
All right, so Indy 5 takeaways, last things. I don't know. Well, it's still
Only
pretty,
time will tell, as they say.
yeah, it's still pretty early on. We don't really know anything. I mean, they just announced after 12 years that they finally are going to make it. So
They're like, the time is right. We've waited just long enough.
The audience anticipation. I think
He's still a septuagenarian. We're good.
they're really trying to go for that whole like that Tool vibe. You know, they're gonna like let's wait 15 years before we put something out.
Mm-hmm.
The audience will still be there, and maybe they're right.
All right.
Let's
take a break.
Cool.
And we're back.
We are back. What do we got?
What are we doing next?
Well, I think we should at least talk about Mighty Ducks.
Oh.
Why don't we talk about that?
Sure, Mighty Ducks. We just did a video about that.
We did.
On our YouTube show.
Is
it channel or show? I guess it's a channel.
It's a show on a channel.
Oh, sure.
I guess there are multiple shows that we have on that channel.
See, this is why we are so successful.
Because we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, the Mighty Ducks was an interesting one. Oddly enough, we don't really talk about the Mighty Ducks one bit.
It was, a documentary, and that's all we had to say about it.
Right. I do want to bring up something we never brought up in the episode. Is that Gordon Bombay is indeed two gins put together to create a name, and he's an alcoholic, or at least
in the film.
In the film, yeah. So
recovering. No,
not even.
Does he stop? He stops drinking.
Like they drop it.
Oh,
I think he's like he was drinking. It's hard to say. I don't remember the exact details of it, but I just thought
maybe he wasn't an alcoholic. He was just drinking in excess because he was depressed about his unfulfilled dreams of being a hockey coach.
I think that's giving that film a lot of credit. I don't know if they actually put that in there. I just know that I do enjoy the film because the screenwriter was probably at a liquor store one day and was looking at the gin in the gin aisle and was just like, well,
do I want Gordon? Do I want Bombay?
Oh, I want both. And then voila, you get Gordon Bombay.
Gin.
Yeah.
I'm getting back into the gin after a 15-year hiatus.
I went to the Mission yesterday. We went there because we were actually looking for rum because
it's National Rum Day.
Well,
I can't back that up.
Can't back that up.
It is, however, Margarita Day. I think tomorrow, National Margarita Day.
Is it really?
I was told to buy tequila in preparation.
I like that, though.
The media informed me.
Well, the gin.
The media said, throw away that crappy mix. Here's how you make a good margarita for Margarita Day. And I was like, I didn't realize it was Margarita Day. I don't even like margaritas, but now I have to try because they told me to.
I don't.
And I do have fresh strawberries in the fridge.
Well, that's very important.
So this could happen.
I don't like margaritas much myself.
Sweet. Yeah, they're too sweet. I like the idea more than the execution.
Well, I don't like the mix. Any of the mixes that
those
they
sweet
use,
and sour mixes are trash.
You can't do that.
They give me upset tum tums.
No, that's not good. The rum used in a mojito is. I remember really enjoying mojitos, except that most places you go to, they just use the mix,
right?
And that's unacceptable.
I can't drink that stuff. Yeah,
fresh fruit always tastes a little bit better, just every time. But anyways, I was there looking for rum yesterday because Kelly's been doing a lot of pirate research, watching all those pirates movies, but also just like doing real historical research. Yeah, it was definitely a word that they used. We just looked. We wanted to find some rum, and we wanted it to be legit. So
era appropriate.
Yeah, so we actually found some rum from the early 1700s, and
I was reading about grog the other day. has her research uncovered anything about grog?
Interesting. Yes.
It's just rum water. It was like a ration instead of using disgusting ass water. They did half and half. But then the rum ration lasted until like the 1800s in the British Navy.
And I
Or the
heard
early 1900s. The U.S. got rid of that shit real early on.
I heard that it was actually until I thought she said till 1940s. Like
Maybe.
they dropped it at that point because, the ration of think about it. I mean, of course you want to have a drink. You're in a life or death situation. It's like I need something to drink.
They finally did. I mean, for those last few decades, they did, break it down. You could only have one rum for breakfast and one for lunch.
There's
you can't just drink it all day long.
No, but they gave British soldiers, at least in the army, a ration of either, I think it was whiskey, just like the infantry, they gave them whiskey as part of their in World War I at least.
Oh yeah, that's a given.
Just
how else are you gonna get guys to fight that war?
We're going to give you rum if you fight.
All right, that doesn't sound too bad.
Oh yes. What about tea? Will we have any tea? Yes, 1 lump or 2. And I don't know, like the idea of alcohol, not that this is going to be a show about alcohol, but
well, it is now.
It's turning into that. When we were doing that, looking at the different rums, I turned around and I saw that all of the gins were there, and I almost took a picture of it just to be like, see, oh, it's Gordon Bombay. Here we go.
Oh,
but
I get it.
The guy had a sense of humor, I guess. I don't know.
Or he was short on time. I need a name. I don't have time for this. Gordon Bombay.
Jack Daniels. That's
2 on the nose.
Oh, Jim Beam. Yeah, colder.
I think in his in the original script his name was Karl Pabst, but they said too German. Coach Karl Pabst. Josef Budweiser. That was the original working title of the film.
Is Bud Light.
Franz Light. Franz B. Light. Bud. Yeah, they had a quick change at the end there.
Yeah, for legal purposes, they had to do that.
But on the plus side, after doing that movie and you're working on editing it, Emilio is now your new favorite person.
I do like him.
I can tell. You've had nothing but glowing positive things to say about Mr. Estevez.
Well, they talked about that in one of the interviews that I watched.
I'm
That
sure they did.
in Spain, I guess it's Estevez, but in Mexico, it's Estevez.
Interesting.
So, I ended up doing hours of research.
Fascinating. Tell us more.
I don't want to dwell on it too much because I want to talk about Emilio in another segment that we have. But that's it's I did have a little reservation about doing this. He plays angry Emilio in the phone call that when he actually called us, we asked him, can you play angry? And he did. I do feel a little bad about that. But at the same time, this is the normal thing right now. Larry Sanders Show.
Oh, sure. One of my favorites.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, Seinfeld, etc. All these people playing versions of themselves, and Emilio is just playing a version of himself. It's all for fun.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I'm not trying to denigrate anybody, but Emilio he's a good sport.
And we're back. Mm-hmm. Time for some RQDQ.
Let's at least talk about this. What RQDQ is? We brought it up months ago, part of our season 3 sneak peek. Check it out if you haven't.
Sure.
And RQ Disqualified is really just supposed to be people, actors, living actors, who...
Never really thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could talk about dead actors
Right.
and how, we haven't seen too much
Whatever
of them.
happened to that guy? Doesn't really, you don't see him around much.
Although, I will argue in a few years from now, we will be talking about dead actors
Oh,
in movies.
I just saw Tupac's latest concert. It was great.
Wow.
He's
You still got it?
a hologram, but he's a Force ghost now.
It's amazing.
He was up there with Yoda and Anakin 1 and Anakin 2.
Wow. What about Obi-Wan? Was he up there too?
No, Obi-Wan.
Oh, they couldn't get him? It sucks. Well, RQ-DQ, another vague Star Wars reference.
Yes, and that's what we do.
Is essentially a show or a segment of a show in which we will talk about actors who are, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, on the outs.
Currently residing outside of Hollywood.
Right.
In North Hollywood.
Oh, that's where I live.
Oh, well, you're outside of Hollywood.
That's a little too close to home.
That's fair. Okay, fine. In East LA.
Well,
I'm all the way in East LA. I can't make it to 4 o'clock call time.
But that's
Have
a
you
good
seen
point.
The traffic on the 710?
I
that
just
the right
avoided
food?
the RQDQ. Actors, you know what? Actors, directors, anyone that was in the industry, we talk about what happened to them, where are they now, what would it take to get them back into their former glory days, if that's even possible. And this week, I feel like probably we should talk about Emilio.
Yeah,
because
I actually did. He did an interview on NPR about that movie you were telling me about.
The Public.
Yeah.
That's
all I got. But he seems like a cool guy. I know you're in love with him. He's your favorite.
He's a great guy. I mean,
seems like a nice man.
This is something that I think is almost, again, it's kind of, RQDQ will most likely be us just like having a laugh, at some people's misfortunes.
You having a laugh?
You having a laugh? And Emilio is, I thought about it in a couple of different ways. I was telling you about this before the show. I really felt that either he is, he just knows that he is not the star that he used to be, so he's not even trying to be that. He's like, look, that was then, and this is now. I think that was another movie he was in. That was then. I'm leaving that there. It can be what it is, and I want to do other things. He seems like a very humble person in his interviews. I probably watched 6 or 7 interviews with him, all just to find the right words. But
sure,
yeah.
Doesn't he always just play that bully who with a heart of gold?
Well, I was trying to find.
He's like the Robin Hood of bullies.
He described himself. I do like what he says, but I didn't know if I necessarily agree with him. One of the interviews, he was talking about how he played kind of like the anti-hero, and he brought up these references, and he's like, in Mighty Ducks, I was the anti-hero, and I was like, well, I feel like you were still pretty much
that word again.
Yeah, the
Not
hero.
sure it means what you think it means.
But definitely in Young Guns, he was an anti-hero. Young Guns 2.
Billy the Kid, sure.
Billy the Kid. Repo Man, he was an anti-hero. Just like a little bit on the outside of the law. Men at Work, the same kind of thing. I think that he can put together a movie. I mean, he's a competent director, but I don't know. He said it himself, or one of the film critics that he was talking to was like, how do you feel that, I'm paraphrasing, how do you feel that, your movies like won't make any money? And he sort of laughed about it. He's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, but it's not really about that. He did say that for that movie, The Public, it's not really released. He's taking it around the country to show people.
It's like a road show.
A road show, yeah.
Kind of like Kevin Smith.
Right. And I don't know, like I find that to be very respectable because he just seems like such a good person. Sounds like the complete antithesis of Charlie. And as far as stardom, I think that Martin Sheen definitely had a lot more. Like he had some like majorly large films that he was a part of. Still kind of is, I guess. But I mean, Apocalypse Now is, it's going to go down in I don't think Emilio has any Apocalypse Nows under his belt.
You mean other than Men at Work?
Men at Work is a close runner-up to Apocalypse
He was an errand boy in that, sent to
To fetch a grocery
bill.
An errand boy sent to collect the bill.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
So what you're saying is he doesn't need to come back. He's already back.
He's already here.
Behind the camera.
He like LL said in "Don't Call It a Comeback." You know,
LL.
I've been here for years. You know,
That's true.
great song.
I thought that was Larry David who said that.
No, I can't come up. I can't think of a joke or a snarky remark for that one. I can't even do his voice.
Well,
Larry David's been here for years too.
on our show?
No, sitting outside the airport waiting
Knocking,
for us.
yes.
Are these guys gonna let me in?
I thought that was Bernie Sanders.
I want you to follow me on the Twitter.
What is that?
I don't know who that is.
That's close. You just you need a little bit more Brooklyn in there.
I don't have that. Yeah, I'm a few stops away from Brooklyn.
Yeah, on the A train, the C train.
So,
Well, he seems like a good guy. He'll be on next week, which is why we're buttering him up. Buttering him. He's like a piece of toast.
Is
Just
that
needs
what we're doing?
some butter, margarine. Not margarine. Margarine's very bad for you. That's what I hear.
it's the only thing I can eat. Can't have butter anymore.
Are you serious?
Yeah, butter or cheese. I can't.
Well,
do it.
you can. I mean, I can't believe it's not butter. That's not margarine, is it?
I don't know. It's chemicals. You know,
Buttery chemicals.
I kind of just stay away from the dairy just in general, just because I don't know how it's going to react. The Bailey's was good though,
That was good.
so we'll see what happens.
That was Bailey's?
After I leave
I've
here.
been taken out to work every day. Can you imagine?
Was that wrong? I think generally speaking, we can be a little bit more, as the show evolves, we can be a little bit more critical of some of these people. But in terms of Emilio, I just wanted to say,
If you're listening, Emilio, I love you. So did a lot of the other guys.
So you just hang in there,
Okay, buddy. That's right. We got it in there.
Every episode, Every episode's gonna have Die Hard in there.
Yeah.
If you can't see a picture of Hans, it's at least gonna be a visual audio. Oh, shit, we even do that in the Mighty Ducks. It was dark.
That's right. That was on your insistence. I tried to stop you.
It's got to be in there.
I'm fine with it. What else we got to do with our lives?
Make fun of people who are more influential than us.
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay, cool.
All right. Well, that was a great first show.
I enjoyed that show.
Can't wait to listen to it.
Can't wait to, edit.
Oh.
This is what you're talking about. But anyway,
See you around.
yeah, stay wise, everybody.
Let's go hit the craft services and get some of that free coffee.
Ooh,
No dairy,
no dairy,
just Bailey's.
just caffeine. All right, folks.
All right.
Adios.